Hello and welcome. Another Does It Work test is going to happen. This time with an airplane that existed already in X-Plane 10. I think it came out in 2016, 15, 16-ish. It's the Dreamfoil Creations Embraer-110 Bandeirante, the Bandit. It's a two-engine turboprop, sort of a medium size. I think it's about the same size as the 1900 or something like that. I'm not sure. Anyway, I got this aircraft a couple of years ago in a sale. I think it was at the beginning of the pandemic, and then my life kind of took a bit of a turn into a different direction. So I never had really time to test this and fly this a lot. So it was sitting in my hangar for quite some time. The last version came out in 2018. I think it was August 2018. And since then, the developer that's behind Dreamfoil, I'm not sure if he's Spanish or if he comes from South America. He has a Spanish sounding name. He kind of disappeared from the face of the earth. There must have been some things in his life too, so there wasn't really much development. Now Dreamfoil is also doing mainly helicopters, actually. This is the only non-helicopter aircraft that they have. And yeah, so when I got it, it wasn't that old. In the meantime, now it is quite old. And I've been reading on the forums that, first of all, the developers seem to have disappeared due to private life reasons, and that the Embraer wouldn't work in X-Plane 12. Then I was reading on a little bit, and people were kind of suggesting that one should definitely do something about the sound, because that's now the speciality here. Dreamfoil seems to have created 3 plugins, special plugins. One is the aircraft itself. Then there's one for the liveries. There's one for the sound. It's the Dream engine. It seems to be specific to Dreamfoil aircraft or crafts, no, whatever. And this will not work in X-Plane 12, so we won't have any sounds. And no matter whether or not you get the aircraft working, if you don't have sound, you can forget it, basically. Then I discovered that the sound problem seems to not have been linked to X-Plane 12 specifically, but to the Vulcan engine. So when Lamina introduced the Vulcan engine in X-Plane 11, the Bandeirante and I think the helicopters from Dreamfoil had a sound problem when you turned on Vulcan. Because of the fact that X-Plane 12 is Vulcan only now, can't switch, it seems to be the same problem. So I found on the forum, on the Dreamfoil website, I actually found a download link. Yeah, I don't have it. I will put the link in the description. I found a download link for a Dreamfoil engine plugin update. Not sure, it's relatively recent. I think it was from 22, a couple of months ago, that this was done. That was before X-Plane 12 was released. That was for X-Plane 11, 5 something. I downloaded it, I installed it, and voila, the sound is working. And then I was reading on the forums that I didn't really find that many entries on the X-Plane org forum about the Bandeirante, because I don't think it is a very common aircraft. Not that many people have actually are flying it, it seems. I may be wrong, but that's what it looked to me like. And they said, yeah, well, no, I can't get the engines properly started and all that. So I thought, well, I give it a try and see what happens. Maybe I can find some tricks with which I can get it to work. And it seems that some people have actually managed to sort of get it working. But they didn't really explain what they did, you know. That's always the problem. So I thought, well, I give it a try anyway. I loaded up, and I did, and first of all I had no sound, so I had to find out about the sound thing. And then I had issues with the engines because it was really weird. I couldn't get the engine started. Strangely enough though, I then took the checklist that's part of this aircraft. I will show you in a moment. I went through the checklist step by step. And then I kind of activated the fuel on one of the engines, and it immediately sprang to life. It turned out that for some reason, because I use the auto start, so aircraft like this, I usually I have a key bound to the auto start engine command of X-Plane. There's actually, it's similar to what you have in MSFS or in FSX. It's what we used to have with Control E, which would then automatically start all engines. We have the same function in X-Plane as well, in case you don't know. So it seems that when I used this, I inadvertently activated the starter for the, was it left or the right engine? For the left engine. Which then caused follow-on problems because I didn't have a generator and so on. And it didn't really react properly. So I thought, it doesn't look good. Well, I found a way to undo my change. There seemed to be another feature with this aircraft. It seems to remember certain aspects when you leave. Not sure why that is, because I wasn't aware of any functionality in the documentation. So when I started up the next time, again, I had a turning left engine. And as soon as I gave fuel, it sprung up without me having even started the battery or anything. So that's not good. Well, I managed to counteract the starter because all starter commands of X-Plane were on and were continuously firing. So I did a little fly-Lua script and kind of stopped it from doing that. And since then, and I haven't used the auto start function anymore. This is what you see now. Let's switch and look. There's no spooling engine. It's nice and quiet. There's a lot of stuff around. And yeah, so looking good. I can't remember. Can I open the door from the outside? No, I can't. Right. There is a menu. So I have actually defined a button to open the menu. So there's a menu here where you can, amongst other things, also, for example, attach a ground power unit and attach or do away with all these things that you see at the moment. You can remove them all at once, which we're going to do now. And then I'll bring back the ground power unit for startup. You should actually have the ground power unit because the battery, that's what I already realized, the battery doesn't hold very long. Actually, it's only about 5 minutes or so, or 10 minutes max. And then it's flat. And you will not get it back unless you restart from scratch. So you should definitely connect your ground power unit and then turn it on as well. Yeah, the modeling is, yeah, if you take away the anti-aliasing problem that we have, it's okay. It's not the greatest design. There are nicer ones, but I think it's fair enough. And as with many aircraft, when I look at them in X-Plane 11 and then I look at them in X-Plane 12, they actually look better from the outside because this whole reflection and lighting stuff is much, much better in X-Plane 12. And these aircraft, especially the older ones, they actually look better in X-Plane 12. Forget about the flickering. I've talked about this so often. We still haven't got a fix for that. Hopefully we will. So it's not the aircraft that does all this flicker stuff. I think it's a reasonable modeling. Yeah, definitely. And the Bandeirante is something where you can actually get a good price in a sale, because it doesn't seem to be that popular. So it usually is one of those aircraft that get reduced during a sale. And that's how I got this one here. Okay, so let's jump into the cockpit. Actually, there's also a cabin. And I have to say, the modeling inside is actually quite good. It's better than many other aircraft where the cockpit is reasonable, and when you look into the cabin and where your passengers sit, then sometimes you wish you wouldn't have. But here I think the package is actually quite fitting. Yeah, look at all this here. This is actually a very nice modeling, and it's looking much, much better than the X-Plane 10 version. I've seen the X-Plane 10 version. This is definitely a huge jump from the X-Plane 12, X-Plane 10 version. Yeah, I didn't find a clist.txt, but we can use the built-in functionality. I will, if I find the button again. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here. So, and I think the last time it took me ages to find that flippin' click spot. It was somewhere here. Where are you? Here. And you get it closed again. It's slider 1 if you want to map a command, not door 1 but slider 1. And I think it's the only door that opens, but there are 2 or 3 more sliders. One opens a small compartment. Oh, and the other one opens a large door, because the Bandeirante can also be used as a cargo. You see here the cargo door. It's quite a large one. I haven't mapped something yet, but I can show you. I use DataRef tool. Yeah, this is me being a developer. This is one of my standard tools that I use. So this is the door. This is slider 1. Why did I? Hang on. Then slider 2 is the main cargo door, and interestingly also the fuel. There's a fuel compartment that opens up. And actually I haven't. Oh, that's interesting. So this is also where you open the door in the real world. Here's hydraulic fluid. It's not that you can do anything with anything here, apart from opening and closing the door, but interesting to see. So I didn't see that actually when I did my first trials. Okay, that's nice. So this is how you can open the cargo door. I haven't yet found a way to open okay, let's see. Can I open the door from here? Oh, I can. Yeah, I probably used this here as an indication, but it's actually a bit further up. Okay, cool. So you can open the door from the outside. Let's jump back. Since we have already activated the external power, we can already hear. Now, this is not an overly sophisticated system stuff, you know. And unfortunately, the reflections are a little bit too much for my taste. Basically, when you put on the battery, your external power is gone. But as I told you, the battery doesn't hold very long, so you should always start with the button. And as soon as you have the button here in the overhead on external power, you will see the box out there, and you have electricity. All right. Now, this is actually a very nice cockpit. I have to say, I have to really say, I quite like it. By the way, you need to kind of unlock. You can probably add a command, and then if you have a Honeycomb, you could put it to the D10s of the two most right levers here, so that you will automatically unlock and then bring it back into the fuel cut position. So this is the fuel cut position. There is a manual with this aircraft. It's it's a lot of pictures showing what is what, but there isn't really that much. There's not much explanation about the aircraft as such and about the systems. And there's checklists. There's an emergency checklist. That's something that we hardly ever use in the explain. And then there's a normal procedures. The normal procedures, you can go through that. There's also some numbers. They are all part of the folder. It's under documentation, I think. It's a subfolder. And that'll do. But if you don't have a command mapped to your menu, you can press here. You see it's version 3.2. This is the latest version. There is no newer. It's from August 2018. So it's already 3.5 years old, this whole thing. But I was really surprised. Most of it works. There are some issues though. One of them I just described to you. The other one is XPlane12 has changed a lot on engine parameters. Oh, by the way, it seems like the developer has re-emerged recently, in the recent weeks, because he started to answer some of the forum entries, also for other of his products. And he said that he would first look at some of his helicopters, and hopefully, maybe he will then look at the Embraer here. The thing is, the whole N1, N2 modeling of the engines has changed. So this aircraft, I remember it to be well powered. Okay, this one is definitely underpowered. So you have to be really careful. It is difficult to actually get to speed. There's also a problem with the instrument lights, which are far too low. And I haven't yet found a way to make this better. So if he should he really sit down and start looking at XPlane12 versions of his products, I would definitely say the engines need to be, and the scripting around it needs to be looked at, and also the cockpit lighting, the internal lighting, is far too low. It could be because initially we had far too strong internal lights in XPlane12. They have toned it down quite a bit, but it looks to me as if this kind of caused now the issue with aircraft like this that are not XPlane12 compatible, and it's now really, really low. I'll show you in a moment what I mean. Okay. So let's call up for the checklist. It's a nice book. There's here an emergency checklist, which we hope we won't need. Although, interestingly, the engine shutdown checklist, which is a normal one, is with the one engine failure during takeoff checklist. Yeah. So this is a lot of emergencies. Here's the landing part, but you can start with the pre-flight. It has one page, and what I did is quickly check. Yep, rudders are there. I went through this, through the checklists here. It took some time to find all the things because, yeah, I haven't flown this bird for at least 2.5 years, so I had really difficulties remembering everything. So pre-fight and external inspection. So you can already see it's a fighter aircraft. Initial inspection complete. Cabin and cockpit inspection is complete. Wheel chocks and tail support removed, installed. Now, best is to use that button or press here, yeah, and then go to exterior. And we have already done this, okay? So I've removed all the safety cones and wheel blockers, as they call them, or chocks, the tail support and all that. The only thing I have is the ground power, and believe me, you need it. If you don't put on the ground power and you take a bit more time, you will definitely run out of battery, and I couldn't get it back to life after that, unless I reloaded everything from scratch. So, what have we got? Wheel chocks, yeah. Doors, they're closed. Seat pedals and seat pads adjusted. Yeah. So I'm sitting comfortably in my chair. I don't have seat belts. Parking brake. The parking brake is this yellow monster here, is set. Propeller levers, max RPM. Battery master switch on external power, so it's the same switch, and as I said, put it down into external power, because otherwise you won't have much fun. Was, by the way, the first problem I had. So I turned on the battery, and after a short while everything went dark, and that's it, I had to restart. So anti-collision light, rotating. Now it takes a wee moment, but you need to bring it. This is the off position. First position is the anti-collision, and the next position then is the strobes, I think. So now we have the anti-collision. We should also turn the nav light. We are supposed to turn inverters 1 and 2 on. Because we have external power, the lights go on here. They are quite low. Then the totalizer. The totalizer is this thing here, but it's actually zeroed anyway. Every time I start the aircraft, this is on 0. So this is the fuel consumption totalizer. At least I think that's what they mean. Fuel pumps. The auxiliary, you put them into the auto position, and you turn the main fuel pumps on. I think the auxiliary ones come into play when needed. When they are on auto. There's also a crossfeed function. I haven't really tested if that works. And you can see these things here are lamps, and they kind of throw light on the instrument. Yeah, and unfortunately they're not very bright. I don't know if there's a easy way to fix this. I haven't found one yet. Hydraulic booster pump. Yeah, it took some time. I found it finally down here. You turn it on, and then the radios, yeah, the whole navigation equipment and all that is off. What you usually do. So starting first engine, we are already in the starting here. Now, so what you do is, let's start with the right engine. The ignition will automatically come on as soon as you use the starter. Oh. Alright. So I hold this up for a moment. You can hear something, and then I switch to here, and after a short while, when you can hear that things come up, I move the red lever on my Honeycomb Bravo so that we come beyond that. That was stupido. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, there's a problem with the animation and the, I don't know, texture of the turning prop. Looks awful. But yeah, that's something that it's not important as long as the engines are actually turning. It looks a bit stupid though, yeah. So starting first engine indicator light on. We had that, the ignition light went on, then oil pressure, check positive. So we can go through here. Let's see, oil pressure. Where was the oil pressure? Oil pressure, down here I think somewhere. PSI, I think that's the oil pressure. Check positive indication, fuel pressure, or is that the fuel pressure? It's hard to read. I think this says oil here, but the dials are a little bit... so what have we got here? This is the temperature. This is probably the oil temperature. Let me see if I can... yeah, this is the oil... that's oil pressure, that's oil temperature. Yeah, I think. That's the outside temperature, or... I think so. Then the T5, T5, RPM, torque, T5 up here. So temperature is below 790. Yeah, it's on something like 580 degrees. So that sounds okay. The ignition indicator is in the meantime is off. That's this one here. That went on green and then down, and the oil pressure is minimum 40. Yeah, if this is the oil pressure, 40 psi minimum. That's a bit strange because am I mixing up instruments? I don't think so though, because I think it says oil behind that right thing. Minimum. Oh, hang on. We started the right engine. Oh, what am I doing? This is this is the left engine. It's off. It doesn't turn yet, so we don't have oil pressure. So we are well above 40 psi. Yeah. So that's the minimum, and we are definitely below or we're bang on the maximum, the other red indication. But I suppose that's okay. Could be an XP12 problem with the engines. It could be. I don't know. I can't tell you. By the way, this is a hydraulic pump, so we have one engine now producing also hydraulic pressure, and the brakes are were actually supported now by the aux pump. So I just turned that one off. You don't have to now. You can do it. Oh no, hang on. Yes, you check the hydraulic pressure, but you would probably leave it on until after starting the engines, I guess. So I didn't want to interrupt starting, so let's go to the second page of this start and taxi stuff. Oh no, hang on, we haven't started the second engine yet. Let's first do that. 1, 2, 3. I stay on it a little bit. And then I move that lever also outside. So the ignition is off, and we can see now that also the left engine is slowly moving towards the same settings here. Yeah, 50 or 60. Yeah, this one is a little bit warmer, but it's already running a bit longer. So the simulation seems to be quite okay. Yeah. Now we have hydraulic pressure on both engines. That means we definitely can turn off now the booster pump. We don't need it anymore. So that's 2 good starts. Now engine start complete. The engine star. Battery master. We need to now switch to battery, but I would say we should probably first turn on the generators, because when I switch we will have a quick outage. So And now let's see, it's hard to see, but we have voltage on both generators. I didn't have that when I had the issue with the engine, with the left engine, as I told you. Generators on, voltmeters checked, volt ammeters, yeah, where are they? Where are the volt ammeters? The volt ammeters, are they up here? Oh yeah, that's what we just looked at. Inertial separation is required. I'm not quite sure when I would require this. The pitot static, I would say, yeah, I usually turn those on. PX heat, what's PX heat? That's anti-ice stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I should have probably turned these two on. Battery temperature monitor test. Battery temperature monitor. Now, because I'm doing the video, I actually look at things like that. I think it's this one here. Test. Yeah, but I don't think you can test this. Or? It doesn't matter. It's not that important. Radios, gyro and lighting emergency supply. Yeah. So I think we can now turn on all the equipment. So this is the DME, I think. And the heading, this is our so we need to put this on standby. Bit hard to see, I think we're on standby. Alright, this is the ADF. Not that we will need that on our flight. And yep, now we should load up our flight plan. Push enter. Can't remember which one it was. Was it this one here? I think this is the one from SimBrief. So let's go back to the flight plan. Yeah, EDDS, EDDM, Abtal Magat. And let's go to procedure, select the departure, enter. Apta 4 hotel, enter, enter. Okay. And we go also to the approach, enter. We don't do an arrival, enter. And I use the vector thing, enter. And what we need to do is we need to actually delete this EDDM. That doesn't really work well when that's in. And I leave Magat there for the moment, and then we need to make sure that we enter the approach. That's sort of the speciality here of the GPS. It will not automatically jump. But when we are at Magat, we are switching to ILS anyway, so this is fine here. The way it is at the moment is okay. So I don't need to do anything here. No. No. Here we go. Oh, and what we should also check is that we have activated the first leg, and I don't think we do. Oh, no. Hang on. Clear? No. How do I get back again? FPL. Enter. How do you activate it? What's that? Well, I just do a direct to this one here, activate. Yeah, that'll do. We change to GPS so that we can use the nav mode, and yeah, that should be it. Nose wheel steering, yes. Actually, you have to be... I'm not sure what happens if you only have rudder pedals, but in order to get the steering working, you definitely need to turn this on. And since I have actually a separate axis for the steering, which is an old X52 throttle that I use for that, which I turned so that I do left and right. That's important that this is green here, otherwise you'll have difficulties. So air conditioning. The air conditioning is down here, so I would say we just turn it on and we put it on automatic. And let's do warm. I think you can. I'm not sure how much of that is actually working. Alright, next. Taxi. So parking brake release, brakes test, propeller levers max RPM. Yeah, we've got that. Power levers into taxi. Whatever that means. I see. Yeah. Quite honestly, this thing will happily move. So I wouldn't even start producing any thrust, because it will not. It will get very, very, very fast. Power levers, taxi, fuel condition levers as required. Yeah, I leave them on low for the moment. And I also started to use minimum RPM. I mean, we can try out now because they say max RPM here, but I partially had to really bring them back to min RPM because this aircraft was just accelerating like mad. Could be a problem with XPlane-12, I don't know. Flight instruments checked. Beta lights. The beta lights, yeah, that's them. If I go into reverse or into the beta mode, then the crossfeed is checked and off. Let's hear the fuel. The fuel pumps are checked, yep, and set. Autopilot, if installed, yes, it is installed. Hang on, I have, did it not remember? I thought I had programmed a view for this. Hang on. Because it's in a very awkward position. Yeah, now it's strange because I thought I did already program it. First of all, you actually need to turn it on. Then you can do the test. Electric trim if installed, test. Yeah, the electric trim. So I don't think you can see it here. So where was the trim indicator? Where is the trim indicator? Oh yeah, here. Yeah, it's working. Electric trim is working, and I also bring it in into the green here for takeoff. And finally, there's an engine run-up that we should do. So parking brake is set. Windows are closed. Air conditioning vent. What does that mean? I bring it on vent. Okay. Inertia separation off. I don't think I turned it on anyway. Fuel condition levers low idle. That's where they are right now. On the prop levers, I bring now to min RPM. So I bring them all the way down. Check governor. So power levers to 86 NG. What? Okay, let's see if we find this. This is hard to read. 80 something NG. NG. Well, anyway, we're supposed to bring them up. I'll put it on 80 here. And NH, which is this one here, I guess this, oh yeah, this is NG. There we go. As I told you, I haven't been in this aircraft for a long time. NH between 75 and 80%. Well, Not really. And actually, the second engine is looking strange because for some reason, no, it looks normal. Everything is normal. The two engines do not have the same indications. And I think what we can see here is what I said, and that is X-Plane 12 has a different way, and therefore I think the power is actually too low, and it's even lower on this engine. So I don't know if this is something, is a failure or so. I don't know. Let's fix all systems. I had a couple of failures when I tested. This doesn't look right. Oh, yeah. I think we have a problem with the... That's it. I think we have a problem here with these here. Okay. So there's a bit of a problem in the min RPM area. That means I need to do something about the two levers. Sort of add a response curve and give it a bit of a... no, I don't want to do that. Cancel. Let's do that again. I think we can use this one. Yeah, let's do it like this. 0.03. 0.03. No. Interesting. They are different. I mean, they look like they move the same way. Let's put this on 0.10 just to see what happens. Okay, apply, done. Okay, now they stay the same at least. We have a weird thing here happening in the lower area. I think it tries to go into the feather, unfeather position. So this could be an indication that engines do work differently in X-Plane 12. This doesn't quite make sense, so I'm going to put this back up again. So max RPM, auto feather switch, move to test and maintain. So where is that auto feather test? If auto feather switch. Oh yeah, where is it? Hydraulic booster pump, propeller sync. Auto feather switch. Tja. Somewhere in this cockpit is the auto feather switch. Just I don't see it. Pictorial navigation, battery temperature. Auto feather switch. Ah well. Yeah. Move to test and maintain. Power levers advance both. Auto feather lights on. So where are the auto feather lights? Ah, I found it. So test and maintain. Power levers. Oh, hang on, I had that up. Power levers advance both levers until a 600 pound-feet torque is obtained. Yep, they're both on. Retard. And of them observing if the auto feather light of the opposite engine goes out. Oh, what? Okay, go back to 6. And now take 1 and bring it back. Retard end of them observing if the auto feather light of the opposite engine goes out when the torque value of the engine under test lowers to 42 to 320. Yep, the other one went off. Did I do something? Oh, that doesn't look good. I had some issues with okay. And now I do it with the other engine. Yeah, it does that. That's the auto feather, so it has actually, it's auto feathering it. And now the auto feather is off again. Okay. So let's turn the auto feather on. I think that's that, right? Set, yeah. All right, that was the start stuff. Now let's go to the takeoff part, which is, for that we need to roll to the, we need to get to the runway first. Alright, so, okay, let me quickly show you what lighting looks like inside the aircraft. Here are all the, okay, they are already on. There's another one, and actually in here you can turn on individual lights at the passenger. So now let's get into the dark. At least this passenger cabin is lighted, actually quite nicely lighted. Yeah, but you can already see that we do get some light from the outside as well. Difficult. It's already difficult to read the instruments like this. So let's go back up here, and so that's the cabin passengers. So I've really put up all the lights, but I can also turn it off, I guess. Yep, now it's off. Let's go a bit further dark. Yeah, okay, we're in the sort of a half darkness here. Cabin passenger, cabin pilots. So, and now you see what I mean. Looks like my views, it didn't oh, all my views have been reset. What the heck? What is that? Did it not save the... No, it didn't save. It did not save my views the last time. Oh, I crashed. Forgot about that. when you crash an X-plane, it will not save your views, because I had all these views changed. So here you see what I mean. And I can't get it brighter than this. At least I haven't found a way yet. I tried everything. This is not bright enough. I don't know if there is a way to kind of mess around in the object files or so. I will definitely give it a try. Depends on how this is implemented. Maybe there's a way to patch this so that it gets a bit brighter. But at the moment, flying in the dark with this aircraft, I would only do with an external, something like Air Manager panel or something, because this is next to impossible. Yeah, so actually I had put it like this so that I can see the main instruments. Let's do that again. So. And let's try not to crash this time, so that it will remember. So that's the... oh yeah, actually we do also have a weather radar, but because it's so pitch dark here, we can't see it. So let's go back to bright mode again. You can actually turn this on, hang on, here, and activate the weather radar. So if we would have weather that produces radar, we would actually see it. And here you see another problem, far too much reflections. So not only are they too dark and hard to read, but they also, the reflections take away the last pieces of, at least from up here, it's not that bad. But yeah, it's very difficult. So I've got myself Air Manager here on an old iPad, and I use that to have my instruments for me, so that I know what we have without me having to guess what I see. Now there is something a bit weird, and that is... oh no, it's not. Yeah, it is weird, but it's an airspeed that doesn't start like where other airspeeds start. They start here and then go round. Okay, so on first look it looks like, oh, hey, hang on, why are we that fast? But no, this is where it starts. This is the 0 point. Yep, so now you know. I need to actually activate the Air Manager on my iPad. The automatic detection does not work. Now I have it, so at least now I can see instruments and have a good indication for speed and so on. Right. Okay, actually the white area is similar to the one, not quite, but almost to the one of the BE58. Yeah, the Baron. No, it's okay. So it's a twin engine. Yeah, but the engine instruments, they don't really fit. Oh, by the way, the ADI is caged, so you need to actually uncage it so that it comes back. All right, now we still need to get to the runway, so time to do this. Did I turn on the taxi light? Yes, I did. Okay, let's get rolling here. Left is clear, right is clear. Parking brake off. And we need to get over to there. And you can already see, what about the steering? Hang on. Yeah, it's on. So I'm now using the steering axis. And because this is the Dream sound engine, my little noise cancelling headset function that brings down the tone and brings it up again doesn't work in this aircraft. And you can already see how we get pushback failure. Huh? Go away. Oh yeah, and the brakes are, the brakes are very, very, very sensitive. Yeah. Okay, let's just stop here and then go through the before takeoff. Oh, the brakes, the brakes. Ooh, whoa. I'm very, very careful here. Alright, so let's go back to the takeoff, before takeoff. Utility lights on at night, inertial separation as required. Inertial, I'm not sure when I would turn it on. Flap, so that's first position of flaps, 25%. Flight controls, yeah, let's have a quick check. They are checked. Trim tabs, yeah, so the trim tabs, we need to be in the green. Yep. Takeoff data, yeah, to be honest, checked. I don't know exactly where I should look for that. So probably in the documentation, but you know me. Takeoff briefing complete, strobe landing and taxi lights on. So we bring this into the anti-collision, landing lights and taxi lights on. Okay, flight instruments and radios set for departure. Yep, all of that is set for departure. We can activate the transponder. Radar I've installed. Then air conditioning off or vent. It is off now. Annunciator panel checked. It's all dark, which is good. Fuel condition levers. Now we bring them into the high idle. Okay, and that's it. Parking brake release. And we can line off. And see how fast it accelerates. This goes really, really fast. But so far, I'm... Whoa, the brakes are so sensitive. Holy shit. Oh. Park brake. Alright then, after takeoff. Oh, so this is already after takeoff. So, I'm now guessing. Let me see. So, we have to be careful not to exceed any of this. I had burning engines on my first flight because I had to yeah, it's somehow I couldn't accelerate fast enough. So what I will do this time, I will really make sure that we are not exceeding any of the red areas, and here and torque and so on. And the other thing is, I will try and climb out very, very flat, not too strongly, because it took ages for the speed to build up when I was in the air. So hopefully that'll work out. Right, so let's see. Oh god, this is hard. So you see the temperature, I stay in the green area on all of them, which is not fully. And I hope we don't have burning engines this time. Airspeed alive. I can now steer with the rudders. Can keep it straight quite well. I'm not sure when we actually have to pull up, but we are already at, whoops, 100, 110. I would say probably I pull a little bit. And on my first flight, the aircraft pulled a bit to the left. Yeah, it does that here too. Oh. No, 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 no. What's going on? Aha. I think we are still too slow. And therefore it doesn't want us to bring in. You can see that the speed is almost not. So we are not climbing at all at the moment. And I think this is probably not okay. And actually I have to give it a notch here of rudder. Because I keep, it keeps. It keeps pulling to the left quite a bit. We are not climbing. Let's see now. I think we can give it a bit more power. I have to try and stay below the red. See if that will do something. Okay, now we're climbing. And now I bring in the gear. Activate the autopilot on nav mode. Keep the pitch. Well, I think it will keep the pitch when you do this. There's no altitude yet you can add, and I'm not sure when I can pull in the flap, but I would say I just give it a try now and see what happens. Okay, now we're accelerating. Yeah, we're accelerating and we're climbing. Very good. And it looks like we're more or less on the. Yeah, I think there's something a bit not quite right. Let me see. Uptal. Yeah, there it goes. That looks correct. Yeah. But the autopilot isn't on yet. No, I think it's not on. Let's see, nav. Now it's on nav mode. I thought I had pressed nav mode, but it didn't seem to. Now it's doing it. Okay, didn't see that. Okay, we are out of the white area. I guess that's good. Everything is in. So surprisingly, for an aircraft that's not supposed to work, it's just that you really need to be careful here with so you can see this here. Okay, I stay just below. If you exceed this, you're definitely going to have burning engines, and on the NH we are at 100. I wonder if I can. Yeah, if I use the, so I pull a little bit, or I bring the prop levers just to bring these values a bit further down. And we're climbing with less than 1,000 feet. That's not a lot. Okay, landing gear up, flaps 0% prop levers, 91% NH, it says. Okay, that's what I just tried, but even a bit more, so I'm going to carefully and then see what happens, what that will do to our climb and our speed. It's definitely bringing down the speed. I can't really give more throttle because, or not much more, because we will be hitting that red area. It's orange, but still. So I stay in the green, and I hope in XPlane 12 that will still work. We're climbing with 700 or 800 feet per minute. That's not a lot. So I guess I should really give it a bit more. I will give it 95 or something. At least that we get out of the white band. Okay, air conditioning set. Yeah, power lever set for climb, whatever that means. Yeah, so I think we have done that. Yeah. Air conditioning set, landing and taxi lights. Are we? No, we are still. We're just at our transition altitude. So, but I think we are on 1013. Yeah, we are on 2992 anyway. Inertia separation, auto feather off. Propeller synchro on. No, halt, that's not it. Propeller sync on. Hydraulic booster pump off. Aha, I should have turned it off now. Okay. Engine instruments check. See, we are in the orange part. No. We're coming back a bit. Coming back a little bit. So, we get slower again. And we have only about 600 feet per minute. It's not a lot. Engine instruments check, carbon signs as required, oxygen valve if installed as required. Okay, I'll let you out of your seats. Not that you can go far anyway. I guess flight level 140 will not do. Can be glad if we manage to get 10,000 feet. So on cruise, when we level off, it says prop levers 83% NH. Observe maximum torque, yeah. Power levers set for cruise, whatever that means. Cabin signs as required, autopilot as required, yeah. But we're not there yet. But I have to say, it kind of works. So at the moment, it looks like the aircraft can be flown. It might not be the greatest experience. And there's definitely, I think the engines are underpowered in X-Plane 12. I need to give it a bit more. NH, yeah, we need to be careful with NH. Okay. Now, it doesn't look like this is the kind of autopilot that would level off at a certain altitude. Because I found nowhere where I can enter the altitude, it should level off, so it's a very simple one. When you reach your altitude, you are the one to level off and yeah, use the alt mode, I guess. There isn't even a real vertical speed or IAS mode, yeah. It has It has the pitch. You can change the pitch, but yep, I leave it like this. Now the question is, should we lower the pitch and then get and increase the speed? I don't know. So what happens when I press down? Does that make anything? Ah, yeah. Turn. So it has elif. What does that do? Elevator. I think that's the elevators. Yeah. That's roll trim. Dim. That's the up and down for the pitch. We're on nav mode, and at the moment I don't use alt. I mean, descending will be no problem. What have we got here? I forgot to take out Discord. Let's take that away. So what you see is that's the simulator, that's OBS, that's touch portal. Oh, I still have the Orbix thing on. I didn't want to have that. Let's close that one. Yeah. And touch portal is I can show you this very quickly. This is a way of I have some checklists, and I control OBS and the likes from touch portal. Oh, maybe I should check my instruments. So I think we stick now with about 140 knots and 200-300 feet. It's not that much, but again, on my first flight I gave it full power, and shortly after that I had 2 burning engines and the fire alarm coming off, and yeah, and we crashed. Because with 2 burning engines, there's no way you get anywhere. Fuel flow is about 250, I think it's pounds. Let me see. Yeah, it's 250 pounds per hour. That's the fuel pressure, and that's the fuel tanks. We're a little bit, we're not low on the fuel, but yeah, not that much in. Flaps are up, it's down here, landing gears in. There's an ADF. All the comm and the nav radios you control from this thing. We have finally reached Abtal. Yeah, normally we are already almost landing with jets. We are almost landing, but yeah, at least it's following the route. So 9,400 when we reach 10,000 flight level 100, I will use the alt mode and we level off. I think I'm going to use max RPM. What happens when I do that? On the NH we are at 100%. Does it make a difference with the speed? Not really. Let's go back a little bit again with the 2. Not sure if the manual really provides exact data on how to fly this aircraft, but since I quite like the aircraft actually, the inside is really nice, I would say. I think I will start studying a bit more on the internet about the Bandeirante. I do have it also for MSFS. I got myself the version on flight simulator on the other one. I like turboprops like this. This is actually this and cargo planes, and turboprops that are cargo planes. That's kind of the combined. I like it. Oh, I just realized we haven't uncaged this one yet. Should do that too. Oops, and we are on 10,000. Hang on. Let's just level off. So. I mean, all the stuff is in, right? Yeah. So flaps are in. Nothing that slows us down. So let's check the checklist. That's the cruise, prop levers, power levers, set for cruise, cabin, whatever that means. We're just about above now the white area. I'm pretty sure that's not normal. And I think, and I read this also in one of the forums, someone thinks that the engines are underpowered in XPlane 12 due to the new way that N1, N2 and all these things are done in XPlane 12. So for the landing part, initial approach, descent procedure complete, cabin signs on, utility lights on at night. Oxygen valve installed, closed, oxygen valve ignition and PX heaters required, landing lights on, landing data checked, approach briefing complete. Right, let me see. Yeah, so Maggot is... is it? Oh yeah, here, 48.8. I think I'm going to use the speed up mode. Four times ground speed. Because this is a really slow aircraft, so I suppose So I guess as long as you stay below the orangey parts and stay in the green parts, you should be fine with regards to the engines. So now let's stop the fast mode. Now descending is much easier than climbing, so I guess we could now calculate the descent. Let's see. Required rate of descent. Let's have a look. So we are now at 10,000. And we want to be at 5,000. We have a ground speed of yeah, what's the ground speed? I don't know, I think we can get this from here, of 177. I use a little calculation tool here. And the distance is 33 miles at the moment, so I put in 33 miles. We have to descend with 446, so roughly 500 feet per minute. So let's try and get that done. Since we can't put in the altitude, I would just disable the alt mode and then start pitching down, and I'm going to let it get a bit faster. Pitching down, so we're at 200 feet per minute. We can pitch down a bit more. Now let's check. We want to be at in and around 500 feet per minute, not more than that. Let's see that we get this. Yeah, roughly. Yep. And now I can bring back all the power levers a bit. Yep, that's working okay. So the ILS is 109.5, while the course, yeah, we need to set the course, but let's first go toward. Now you see how dark things are, especially when the day grows further dark. It's very, very difficult to, especially with the new XPlane 12, make it dark cockpit function when you have your head up. To be honest, I wish this could be at least turned on off or something, because I don't really like it. Altimeters cross-checked, yeah, flaps, that's before landing. No, for that we need to be on the ILS. 25%, check the flap position indicator. Propeller synchro off, auto feathers set, prop cleavers 91% NH, hydraulic booster pump on, hydraulic pressure checked. Okay, yeah, and then landing gear down, nose wheel steering on. Oh, nose wheel steering on. Good to know. Probably so that you can keep the thing on the runway. I didn't do that on my first little flight, and I was all over the place. All right then. Let's see. How far are we? 17 miles. Let's speed this up a bit. Okay. The descent worked out quite good. Yep. We've also built up a bit of speed. We're now at about 175 or so. But I'm pretty sure that'll go down again when we level off, which we're going to do any moment. We can actually I'm now going to switch into heading mode. Yeah, I am. So, heading mode. Now I'm switching to the VOR, and we need to make sure that our course is 0. Yeah, I think it's correct. It's 080. Yep. Now, I'm not sure if this knows about arming modes, so I'm waiting for the needle to move before I press on the approach button. Oh, and by the way, I need to be careful because it does not know that it has to stop at 5,000 feet. So I need to apply the Alt button as soon as we've reached 5,000. Ooh, that'll be interesting. So I'm going to arm the approach mode. See what happens. Glide slope and nav on, arm. Yeah, glide slope is armed. Localizer is moving. Yep, we're turning. All right, now Oh, I didn't turn the lights off anyway. So please strap on again, because now the dangerous part starts. Costa's trying to land with this thing. Okay, the data ref tool I think we can turn off. We don't need that. Let's synchronize the heading. All right, and it's a distance 3.8. I think we need to get a little bit slower. Prop levers 91 or so. I hope we're still on the glide slope. Yeah, I think we are. Well, can't get slower, so let's bring back the power a good bit. Landing data check. Okay. Auto feather on. Prop levers 91. Hydraulic boost pump on. So landing gear down. Are we still on the glide slope? Yes. Nose wheel steering on. It is on. Flaps 100%. Air conditioning went off. Okay. Flaps are fully out. Oh, we're getting slow. Oh, we're getting slow. We're getting slow. We're a little bit above the glide slope. Now we'll try and fly the airplane myself. Oh god. Hang on to your drawers. Okay. Well, that wasn't too bad. And the beta mode really brought down the speed. Okay, let's come off here. On the ground, elevator trim green band. Flaps retract to 25%. check 100 NH, prop levers, power levers up once up to T5. Ah, touch and go on ground. Ah, what am I doing here? No. Okay. Inertial separation, auto feather off. So, we need to turn this one off. We need to bring in the flaps. We turn off the landing lights. Then we need to transponder if installed. Yeah, it is indeed installed. Put that one on standby. Flaps 0%, air conditioning as required, fuel condition levers as required. Yeah, let's turn that one on again. Fuel trim tab set, non-essential electric equipment off after landing. Non-essential electric equipment. And what exactly is non-essential? Okay, so let's taxi to the gate. Yeah. And next is the engine shutdown. Well, if we can get the weakness of the engines, if we can get that fixed, the rest of the aircraft works pretty well. Like, I have to say, I'm so power levers minimum, propel levers need to bring into the feather position. By the way, when I did this, the engines and the levers went all over the place, so don't don't bring them down here after that. I did this during flight to test what happens when you do feather, and that was not a good thing. So parking brake is set, power levers a minimum, prop levers in the feather. Well, let's do that. Okay, but don't move them now with the axis. Air conditioning master switch off. Fuel condition levers, fuel cutoff. So for that you need to bring the levers into the 0 position and then do this here. So except the battery. Now what we can do is we can turn this to external power, and then we can turn all the lights and everything off. Let's turn all of these off. Let's turn this off. Let's turn this off. Yep. And we have to turn off the autopilot completely. All right. So then we can turn off all the equipment here. off, off. This one is off as well. And yep, that's it. That's the Dreamfoil Emb-110 for X-Plane 11. It's not perfect, but it does work. So now we can let you out. Don't jump, please. Use the stairs. And well, it's not perfect, but it's an aircraft that I can still use in X-Plane 12 if I want to. I see if I can fix the engine, so I'm going to try and maybe see if I can use the plane maker of X-Plane to modify some of the values without breaking the whole aircraft, and possibly just try and maybe get a bit more power out of the engines. Now, chances are that this will not work out, and that I will probably break more than I fix. But at least I can try. And but apart from the weakness of the engines, if you follow the checklist and if you stay below all these maximas, it's actually a very nice aircraft. And the rest is really, the modeling is fine, the cockpit is fine. Yeah, I'm glad to see that the aircraft can be used. And who knows, maybe the developer is true to what he wrote in one of the forum entries, that he will eventually kind of adapt all his products to X-Plane 12. Would be great. I mean, let's face it, even if it costs a few euro to get an update, I prefer to get an update and use the airplane than to have it on X-Plane 11 and then most likely that's it. I will probably not use it anymore. Okay, that's it. It was a bit of a longer one because we had such a slow aircraft this time. Yeah, hope that was interesting. So does it work? Yeah, it does work. Not perfect, but it does work. Until next time.